Awesome. So I've introduced myself earlier about my previous business that I ran, where I've had 6 business partners, and it was called Battle Sports. We were on Dragon's Den. We did a lot of interesting things with that. But in terms of like my background, is always been in digital marketing. So I've worked in the marketing agency space for over 10 years, and a lot of it is working towards being able to support the email marketing campaigns that you do. So what marketing automation is, and a lot of you have already seen it, have already experienced it. One good example is when you sign up at a company, at the bottom, there's a little newsletter. I want to sign up for a newsletter. You put your email there, you get a welcome package. Hey, welcome to our website, welcome to our business. That's an automated email going out. It's my job to make sure that whole process works. But also there's a lot that goes in the back end of that. So not only are you signing up your email, but your email goes into the database. We get your name, your email, any other details that that form has taken from you. And then from there, we start that process. We nurture the client, the customer, from once we get that first email. So for myself here, I've worked over with 25 different clients with over 100 different projects. One of the biggest clients I worked with was at Hub Insurance, CAA, and also Build. So Build, they do the home shows. So what we did in the past was with Build, when a person buys their ticket, then they get a thank you email, and also we start to blast you with different marketing emails about the event coming up, 1 week before, 2 days before, the day before. That's all the marketing automation process. So rather than just having a marketing coordinator send out those emails like one at a time, we just have that person set up a whole campaign, set the times, we pre-create all those emails like weeks and weeks before. And then from there, we just set the start button, and Build just gets to sit back and see all those marketing emails get sent out. And another great thing about the whole process is also dormant buyers. So sure, you bought a ticket, but what about the folks who bought the ticket 2 years or 3 years ago to the home show? So we send a different email like, hey, saw that you came to our 2019 event. We're actually having these new different projects coming up in the 2023 event. Sign up here for your ticket. So all that is all in the marketing automation process there. So I know some of you are business owners here, so the biggest thing that I like to talk about in terms of the benefits of email marketing. So I actually signed up for different developers' newsletters, or the lack of their newsletters. A lot of them actually don't have that simple part there at the bottom where it says, hey, put in your email and subscribe to our newsletter. Daniels and Tridel do a really fantastic job of that whole marketing process. So when I sign up, I get a thank you email, so I actually know that I signed up and it worked. There are some developers that when I sign up, I don't even know where the email went. I didn't even get a thank you. I still have, it's been about a month and I still haven't received anything. Maybe they don't prioritize that, and that's fine. They have folks like Hunter Middleboard doing the marketing for them. But there is still advantages of doing some of your own email marketing. And the biggest thing is that these platforms have measurable results. So you're not just sending out an email to 1,000 people and trying to figure out what happened. You're sending 1,000 emails to these people who actually, you can see, of those thousands of people, perhaps 30% opened the email, and maybe about 5% of those folks clicked. So now you can then track to start to find out who is, of those people that you send to, are engaged users. Another thing is that all these platforms are a great return on investment. So basically for every dollar that you spend on a marketing automation platform, you get $42 back. And that's from the Data and Marketing Association's study. And the reason why the return on investment when you're doing marketing with these platforms is because a lot of the platforms are cost effective. So for example, if you're using something like MailChimp or any other email platforms, it's free up to about 2,000 contacts. And then when you have more contacts, you're sending more emails to more people, it'll start to scale up really quickly, maybe up to 800 or 1,000 a month. So the biggest thing about the whole, what drives the marketing automation process is the database. So the power of your database is really what drives all your campaigns. But the biggest thing is that, especially for Daniels and Tridel, the reason why they invested so much money into their whole process is because they know that it's easy inbound marketing. So I'm signing up for Daniels' newsletter. I put my email in, I'm twice as likely to convert because they're sending me stuff about like, hey, this is Bill just nominated us for an award, or we have these different like developments coming up, speak to some of our top real estate brokerages, or speak to like a lawyer to get things started. So with them being able to send out those emails really helps out with other companies as well, because then all you have to do is have an email with different links to those companies, and now you start to be able to track those conversions. And also audience targeting. So as I was talking about earlier, within that group of people in your email, you can then see, okay, now I have 30% of these engaged folks. I'm going to focus on them so that they are like the first people that I would go to. And even then, when they see the folks that have engaged, then you have like your sales folks, your business dev folks call these people up. So now you're not calling cold people, you're calling people who are warmed up. You're calling people who are like ready to engage. Another big tip of the database side is personalized content. So a lot of times, depending on what you have in your database, you can say like, you know, dear first name, dear Steve, just like in Build, you know, I saw that you bought a ticket from a previous event, here's the next event coming up, and I know you've come to our event 3 times, and thank you so much for coming these past few years. So in terms of like a lot of folks here who own businesses, people always ask me like, what kind of campaigns should I do when I get started? And the easiest one, of course, is inbound welcome packages. Just like for Daniels and Tridel, when I put my email in, they send me a thank you email. It's like, hey, thank you for signing up for Tridel. You know, we have these different areas, like where are you from, since Tridel's like global, right? Which area of a place are you interested in? Then you start to really scope down on where like these folks are. And it's the easiest because when you sign up an email and you send out that thank you email automatically, now the person knows, oh, like that thing actually worked. My email didn't just go nowhere. Another one, in terms of what developers could do, is like new development announcements. Even just sending like a plain text email is still pretty effective. Like I got one from Diamante, and they were just talking about these 5 new developments they're working on, and they're going to come out in the next few years. Speak to these folks for like more details. That's still very effective. It doesn't always have to be like a very well-designed email. Even plain text still works. And the last thing, of course, is newsletters. So monthly newsletters have always been like a staple for many businesses, and you don't have to talk about too many things. Sometimes it could be just one big thing that you're doing, or maybe it's something that you're doing in the next 3 months, or like if you're like folks like Top Law Firm, you say, hey, these are the events we're doing in the, we're going to Alex's event. So newsletters has always been great type of campaigns that you can do. So in terms of like the great examples I've come across, so Daniels did a marketing email about voting them for the Build Awards. And what I want to show, the elements of what makes a good email, is that at the top right away, when you look at your phone, we call this above the fold. So as soon as you look at it, you already know that they want you to vote for their top project, and it shows a picture of it. And then when you scroll down, there's always a reminder at the bottom to then vote again. Now the biggest thing is that there are 2 areas, the top and the bottom. So the top, of course, very important, having a good subject line, but at the bottom, coming soon, and details of their company. So that's also very effective to have some closing information, some new things coming up, and also what we call call to action. So just one last button to be like, hey, I know you read through all these things, but I still want you to take an action. So every effective email like has just one main call to action. Sometimes you can get away with it with newsletters, because newsletters you have multiple things going on. We have events, we have speaker series, we have this new assignment coming up. But with certain emails like this, just one main focus on email, and that's all you want them to do. Because once you start to have different buttons everywhere, look at this, look at that, it gets confusing. And also, I just wanted to show an example. It's kind of small here, but this is the sign-up form that Daniels does. And I can send you all folks a copy of my deck afterwards. But right over here, it asks your name, email, are you an agent? And very important is what we call the agreements. So what happens is, if you're emailing folks in Canada, we have Canada anti-spam laws, which we call CASL for short, C-A-S-L, Canada anti-spam laws. And there is an agreement part where you have to set up so that when someone's signing up for your email, that you're not just going to spam them, that these emails are for marketing purposes. Do you understand it's for marketing purposes? Yes, and you sign up right there. So TriNote is also a really great example with the subscribe. So you go through the whole website, you look at it, you want to find more details. Just like Daniels and TriDell, button prompt there at the bottom of their website. They also have it at the top to subscribe. So you always have what we call above the fold. So the part, when you look at your phone, it's at the top. There's buttons, there's places to subscribe. And then once you finish all the information, always remember to prompt them at the bottom again. And the last thing, because TriDell's global, they forgot to have a sort of Canada anti-spam laws, or folks in Europe, there's GDPR, so that's also an anti-spam agreement that you have to have. They don't have it, but folks like yourselves here, business owners here, should have it, absolutely, so that people know that they're signing up for something that is marketing related. Yep,
all right.
That is it.
Thank you so much,
everybody.
Thank you. Any questions around marketing automation?
So I'm assuming, because I've never done these marketing campaigns before, never had to, but now that I'm interested in doing that, I just can't convert my existing clients from my Gmail into this automatically. It's like I need their permission first.
Yes, so, but if they've emailed you or called you or done any type of electronic messaging, even text, you have roughly about 6 to 9 months to still message them back. Because if you have an ongoing transaction, then it allows you to still have these emails being sent back.
So I don't have to give them a heads up that they're subscribed to this newsletter or marketing campaign.
For folks that you want to do a marketing campaign, one thing that we've done in the past is sort of just let them know that we're updating our subscriptions for our emails. Please check here on the things that you're interested in. So that's one way of trying to warm up your old database.
So send all 2,000 of them the same email and just see which ones would actually subscribe.
Yep.
To that point.
Exactly.
Okay.
Would you say that if somebody has, let's say it's a former client of Top Law, and they used their services 2 years ago, because they paid for that service, is it CASL compliant to include them in the email database?
That's very interesting, because for previous customers, CASL has an update on this. There's a certain amount of years.
Yeah.
So the 2-year mark might be a bit past it.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's within 1 year.
Yeah.
Sometimes they update and change, but
Yeah.
if you're within that 1 year span of being a customer,
Yeah.
You can still send out some.
Yeah, because I remember I was working for a digital marketing firm, and we were doing consulting on CASL to the banks. And at that time, it was, if they had been a client of yours within the last 1 to 2 years, it was okay, paying client. But I don't know the latest version of it. So I think it's a bit gray, right? If you go too far back, you have to be careful not to go too far back. Okay.
Could you just reintroduce yourself and
Yeah.
say, hey, guess what, we got a newsletter coming out, if you're interested,
Yep.
subscribe, if not, don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like even if it's just like a plain text email, like from the biz dev guy, like hey, we're setting up some, like it could be the biz dev person that worked with, or the agent that worked with that person. You can set up that email in a way that it's coming from them as the sender, and then just warm them up again, saying like, yeah, we have a newsletter being created.
So then do you have your own CRM system set up for, let's say, an agent like myself who wants to get started with a newsletter for my current database? But I already have my own website, just not like I have a week drip campaign. So then do you have your own campaign system set up where I just send you all of my contacts, you add them to the database, and then we categorize which campaign, like newsletter or just emails, like how that would be transmitted?
Yeah, so a lot of times when I work with the client, I work with the platforms that they have. So CRM, for those folks who don't know what it is, like customer relationship management system. Folks who have known Salesforce, everybody uses Salesforce, like the government uses Salesforce too, some of their different groups. Whatever they have in terms of, even if it's just an Excel sheet, I would then try to tell them like, hey, maybe we set up a different project contract on getting yourselves with a CRM system. But a lot of times it's working with the platforms that they have, and what they don't have, I try to help them acquire those different tech stacks to get started.
Okay.
So does the same thing apply for, let's say someone sign up for a wait list? It's not an existing customer, but then they sign up for a wait list for maybe a couple of months ago. So do we require consent from them for email campaigns and such?
No, so when they're signed up for a wait list, then they're still consenting. So there's, I forgot to mention, there's express consent and implied consent. So express consent is when like I say I want to receive marketing newsletters. Implied consent, so like you can reach them for 6 months, and they've just signed up for a wait list. They just have an email. So from there, when they sign up for the wait list, that's where you can get them with the thank you email, but also can you help me fill out these details of like what's your first name, last name, job title, whatever you need in your business, and then like do you subscribe to our newsletters?
Right. So but if I just got, I have thousands of people in the wait list, and if I had just had a form to collect the information, what they're looking for and such, but did not have a disclaimer of this is for marketing or this is going to be for sign up for whatever, is that counted as?
That would be implied. So then that's where if they signed it up, then I would send them another email saying, hey, can you confirm your details and do you want to receive like the marketing subscription?
Yeah, for those who have not done CRM, I'm doing it by myself for my company, and it is overwhelming. I would always go to someone expert like this because it's easy to bombard someone with a lot of emails. You gotta be very mindful about what they're thinking, their journey of thing. You don't want to overwhelm them. The last thing we want is just unsubscribe and you're out of that. And all you work for is just getting out of the system. So it's about the right timing, messaging, and all these things. So
I'm with you. It's like valuable content. You can't just say, hey, just checking in, how's it going? Like
last thing you want to do is this will end up in your promotion tab in your Gmail, and that's just waste.
Yeah.
You get like thousands of that every day, so that's
Yeah.
all very stupid. But
And it gets even more like intricate in terms of like active versus dormant clients, like folks who have done business with you in a year or so. They get a whole different like funnel that you put them through, like different messaging. It's more like personalized, like the agent would be the person that could send the email to them. Whereas folks who are new, just signing up, it could just be from like your info at email, or maybe the first agent that usually handles all the new folks. So a lot of that can be separated.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, Steve.